Hi everybody and welcome. So today I'm going to do something a little different because I don't normally make YouTube videos, but today we're going to start making YouTube videos, and with this video we're going to talk about the universe that is Star vs. the Forces of Evil. And we're just going to go ahead and kind of dive right in. Now, they really don't talk about the first queen much. But here in recent episodes with the rise of Eclipsa, returning as Queen of MEWNI, I've decided to go ahead and talk about the queens that we do know. Now, all my information about these queens is coming from the Star vs. the Forces of Evil fandom wiki page. I will link the description below. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Now, we don't really have a picture or anything, but one of the first queens that we do know of was Lyric Butterfly. She doesn't have like a royal alias or anything that we're aware of. We're not really sure about her marks on her cheek, but she first appears in the Star vs. the Force of Evil Magic Book of Spells. All we know is that her wand was a broomstick. Now, next in that list is actually Skywind. And Skywind was Lyric's daughter. I'm not sure if she was her only daughter, her eldest daughter, or what. She was the Queen of Hours. Now, as the Queen of MEWNI, her first appearance was the Star Marker's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension. Her cheek marks are the hourglass, and she had a clock wand, which again goes back to that Queen of Hours. Now, she's depicted with like a reddish, about like this reddish blonde hair, blue eyes, and a long flowy dress with her little clock wand. It basically kind of looks like an alarm clock on a stick with wings. And she was born between Norvast 67 and Sagnog 2. Her Oriole sign is the silkworm, and her husband was Gem Robin. Her son was Justin Butterfly, and her daughter was Solaria. Now, her tapestry should read, "Tick-tock, the clock talks, but secrets are its powers. The only one to break its spell is Skywind, the Queen of Hours." She's the 27th Queen of MEWNI, and one of Star's predecessors. Like I said, the other 26, other than Lyric, we're really not sure about, or as far as I'm concerned, not that short. Her dress is mainly gold with lighter gold trim, and her brooch is red. And I'm doing this on The Sims because it's the easiest way to, show what she looked like in, I guess, my own way. She's about 5 foot tall. She inherited the royal magic wand from her mother at age 14, like Mewman tradition states, and was crowned queen at 17. Her mother retired to the Butterfly family vacation home inside a volcano. On the night of her wand passing ceremony, a bunch of dragons that had been trained for the event got loose and burned Butterfly Castle to the ground. The original Magic Book of Spells was lost in the fire, so Skywind started writing a new one. So, that's probably why we don't really know much else, because the current book of spells that Star has was actually started by Skywayne. Um, so here's my Skywayne, and um, how she let me start this over. How she got her name, Queen of Hours. During the second year of her reign, she accidentally created a 24-hour time loop while overseeing the reconstruction of Butterfly Castle. Using the time loop to her advantage, she convinced her subjects that Butterfly Castle could be rebuilt in just one day. The castle was finished 5 years, and the castle was finished 5 years later. To humans, it only seemed like one day had passed. A recognition of her promise, the humans dubbed her the Queen of Hours. Um, as as she reigned as queen, she expanded the Mumin territory around the Butterfly Castle, seizing some land from monsters, and established the Skymoon Institute for unmagical but somewhat gifted children. Uh, Jen Robin was a knight, and she gave birth to Justin and Solaria. Now, as far as I know, Justin was the only king of Mewni. Um, Justin the Uncalculated. So we're going to go ahead and make him real quick. Just, make him a teen, I guess. Now, being her oldest son, he was the ruler of Mewni. Obviously, he didn't have facial hair. So he did rule Mewni for a little while after his mother. And, he was just, I guess, like a regular kid for a while. I mean, until the wand passing ceremony. I'm not sure if, only sons or like only daughters became queens of Mewni for a while. But I do know, as far as the butterfly history that I've read up to, he's the only male heir. Now, he has the royal magic wand, which kind of looks like a staff with an alligator head. He was a prince of Mewni. He was just a boy, but he could dream. So goes the sad tale of Justin the Unqueen. Um, his time as heir of the throne of Mewni was considerably brief, judging by the shortness of his chapter in the Magic Book of Spells. Immediately inheriting the wand from his mother, Justin embraced the celebrity lifestyle that came with being prince. His time as heir to the throne was largely spent frequenting Mewni's club scene with his entourage, the Boy Prince crew, consisting of himself, Prince Sasmo of the Dock of Unending Torment, Prince Pee of, and that's spelled like the vegetable pea, of Musty Mountain Caves, Viscount Tinbins of the Forest of Unlikely Spider Bites, and Whiz Bang of Garbage Beach. So he wasn't actually king, but he was a prince who did inherit the wand for a while. He did give up his claim to the throne after his mom became pregnant with Solaria. Since Mewni's a matriarchal society, Solaria was the next queen, and Justin served as one of the diplomats to ally the butterfly family and Ponyhead and Luthor families against monsters in the Mumin Monster War. Um, yeah, it was his wand took the form of a red and white striped cane with an alligator's head. He only ever used a wand for simplistic spells, if at all, granting wings to a person or object and creating a comfortable chariot seats. So, even though he was just an heir for a short time, I did want to talk about him briefly. Now, Solaria Butterfly. I cannot spell today. We know a little bit more about her than we do, Skywayne, Justin, or really anybody who came after that. Now, Solaria Butterfly was the 28th queen of the Mumin of Mewni. 28th queen of Mewni. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Now, at one point, she is depicted with a long, not that red, a long braid and shaved sides. But her tapestry is also depicted with her having a shaved head. I mean, got a little stubble, but you know what? It'll work. Her goal, unlike her daughter, was to eradicate all monsters. A castle stormed is a hero born with Midas' strongest steel, kneels the void before her, and crushing force she wields. She, again, as the 28th Queen of Mewni, she was a fearsome and powerful warrior and warmonger. She was one of the queens that was mentioned in Into the Wand when Star went to the grandma room. Her taste in clothes wasn't as... This one will work. Actually, that works for her. She wasn't really girly because she was a big war hero. She has turquoise eyes and yellow lightning bolt striped marks on her cheeks. Let's see. She inherited the throne from her mother after her brother Justin just handed the throne over to her. After she became queen, she waged a years-long war campaign against Mewni's monster population. Mewni's and monsters' attention was high, and monsters raided Mewnin settlements outside Butterfly's castle borders, and attempts at peaceful negotiations with the monsters, led by Solaria's council secretary Alphonse the Worthy, ended in failure. In response to this, Queen Solaria declared war on all monsters. She was called Solaria the Monster Carver, and again, we know a little bit more about her because of her daughter. She transformed an army of peasants into superpowered warriors, the Solarian army, which included Mina Loveberry. And we all know how crazy Mina's been here lately against Globgor and Eclipsa. Now, the Ponyheads helped Solaria and her army after the monsters overran the Cloud Kingdom, and the Ponyheads were able to take back the Cloud Kingdom, and Solaria and her army drove the monsters out, sometime during her campaign against the monsters, Solaria went on a sea voyage with Alphonse the Worthy, and that's when Eclipsa was born. Now, the Magical High Commission, Alphonse, Solaria, Justin Butterfly, they built alliances with the Cloud Kingdom underworld against the monsters. They pushed the monsters as far back as the Forest of Certain Death, while the High Commission started pushing for a ceasefire with the monsters. Solaria secretly developed a spell that would annihilate all monsters, but never perfected it before passing down the wand to her daughter Eclipsa when she was 14. Again, like Mew tradition. One thing that really wasn't said about Solaria is Prince Shastakan of the Spiderbite Kingdom, and the husband and king of Mewnni after Eclipsa took over. Their marriage was set up by Solaria, Eclipsa and Shastakan. Eclipsa was dating Globgor at the time. There was a nighttime monster ambush where Solaria lost her life. And Solaria's will, that's when, Shastakan became king and Eclipsa's husband. Now, I've already made Eclipsa. And she is one of my favorites. Now, if I can get into my gallery, I'll be able to get her. Because even though she's depicted as, evil and blah 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 blah, I personally love Eclipsa Butterfly. She is one of my absolute favorites in this whole series, and she will always be. I don't understand why people call her evil. I don't understand how they see her as evil. She's really not that evil. Now, I'm not really worried about the faces right now. I'm more worried about the hair and everything. Yeah. And, she was called the Queen of Darkness. And we first see her in what episode was it? Into the Wand. Again, we saw her tapestry. Now, her hair's normally a little darker than that, but there really isn't a darker color. Now, we usually see her with her, wide-brimmed hat. Come on, they had one. Had a really pretty one, too, that I loved. But anyway, Eclipsa is hands down one of the best queens in human history, in my opinion. There we go. Now, we all know the story of Eclipsa Butterfly. She's over 300 years old because, again, she was the 29th Queen of Mewnni. Now she's also the 38th Queen of Mewnni. They said that she was, and this is what Starred believed her whole life, but that she was Star's 7th great grandmother. However, the queen that came after her was actually not her daughter. Come to find out that Festivia, butterfly, is not actually a butterfly. Eclipsa actually married Globgor after she ran away from King Shastacan. And after she ran away from King Shastacan and her love of monsters, that's when she became known as Queen of Darkness, plus all the evil spells she wrote in the Book of Spells. Her wand is an umbrella. And it doesn't say what her inscription says. Now, sorry. When we found out about Magical High Commission and all of the terrible things that they did to poor Meteora, who was revealed later to be Miss Heinous from the School for Wayward Princesses, it's really sad. Because, throughout human history, they swore up and down that Shastacan and Eclipsa had Festivia, and then she ran away to be with a monster. Once it was found out that she was in love with a monster, her and her husband separately in separate locations were encased in crystal, and in which time Eclipsa stayed there until making the pact with Moon. And after she made the pact with Moon, she was released. Now, they don't have a darker purple, or I'd use that, but Festivia was known as Festivia the Fun. She was given the wand at a very early age, and her wand was a rattle at the time, and then as she got older, it was like a goblet, a drinking goblet almost. Or at least that's how it's depicted in pictures. She had like horns, I guess, that came from her crown, or that were headpieces, and she had almost this ancient Greece look and appearance, especially in how she dressed, which, I'm sorry, did her wonders. But I also adore ancient Greek culture. She married Prince Musty Mountains. When the threat of monsters at the gate had darkened out the sun, let the kingdom find some peace and joy in Festivia the Fun. As the 30th queen, she is the first butterfly that is not actually butterfly. Um, because, like I said, um, Shastakan, she was just a random peasant girl. Um, she was really tall at 6'1", and she had 4 pointed star-shaped marks on her cheeks. I like the purple on her better. This purple is about where her hair was. It was almost like kind of like a blue purple though. She did not have cheek marks as an infant, but she did gain them through her regular use of the royal wand, which we know is possible because in the one episode that Marco used the wand, he did have moon-shaped marks, which, spoiler alert, if you've seen any of the newer episodes in season 4, when Star, Tom, Marco, and the gang were trying to get back to Mewni after Hekapu shut down all portals, when they were going through the magic realm. I totally lost my train of thought. Marco got the cheek marks when he was trying to use the wand. Um, she was basically, but in other words, Festivia. She was just a total party girl. Apparently, she was cheerful and cannot stand seeing others upset. Now, again, we know uh, that King Shastakan was her adopted father. And Festivia wanted to keep Mewni safe and kept the castle gates kept them closed from the outside world. She held non-stop parties in the kingdom to keep her subjects happy and untroubled by the battles being waged outside the gates. She had 2 daughters, Dorenia and Crescenta. Now, Dorenia wasn't a queen, but she liked poetry. She was heir very briefly, and again at 14, she inherited the magic royal wand from her mother, and she just really didn't want to be queen. She was, it's not really she wouldn't want to be queen, she was seen as unfit for duties as queen because she did not treat her magic wand very well. So they gave the throne to Crescenta, Festivia's second daughter. So Dorenia ran off with someone named Chad to live in the forest of uncertain death. But they ended up coming back while Crescenta was queen to live, on the grounds. Now, again, we do not know much about Crescenta. She was a very happy person, much like her mother. And she kind of had the same appearance as Star. However, her cheek marks were like little bunnies. She wanted to be Muni's greatest queen, and she was the 31st Queen of Muni. She was Crescenta the Eager. When the one before her proved unfit, Crescenta the Eager took the role, and along with her gal pal Emily, kept the monsters under Mewman control. Uh, yeah, she was only 5'2", really girly, kind of adorable. And, in some pictures, she kind of looked like a ballerina. Or like she could have been a ballerina. Yeah, Crescenta was adorable. Again, after her sister was proved unfit, she got the royal wand. And she tried to improve the lives of Muni and its people. She established the future leaders of Muni Club with other princes and princesses, and she joined the Junior Castle Guard to watch over Butterfly Castle. She was crowned queen at age 20, and established a form of government within the monster population that was overseen by the Butterfly family. With the help of her best friend Emily Capbottom, they organized an election to crown Monster King and Queen, resulting in King Pseudo and Queen Aviaris, which are Ludo's parents. So if that tells you how old Ludo's family is, I don't know what will. She continued to rule Muni with Emily as her chief advisor, and she passed on the wand to her daughter Rena. She really didn't do much. Who was her husband? It doesn't say anything about her husband. Alright, now Arena Butterfly. She was kind of adorable too, from what I can see. She had these really cute glasses. Um, those actually would work better. Really don't have like a dark enough hair. That one's gonna have to do. Seven came before Arena. If you subtract the boy, add 4 more reigns to her domain, and then what gets destroyed? She was Rena the Riddled, the 32nd Queen of Muni. She had brown infinity shape marks on her cheek. I'm not really sure what her... Yeah, that'll work. What was her... Yeah, the Riddled. She just loved riddles. She declared a national holiday dedicated to riddles. She didn't like politics at all. She actually put a spell on herself to make her love the groom, and then used another spell to end her relationship with him. That was John Rochley, second cousin to the Lucitor family. I guess he was a demon. And again, she cast a spell to fall in love with him. And that's when they had Selena the Shy. Rochley was cruel to her in her marriage, implied in the Magic Book of Spells. And because of that, she cast a spell that would break his heart, which resulted in his death. She really didn't mean that. But the Lucitors and the Butterfly family, there was a strain on the relationship between that for a while. Her wand was like a Rubik's Cube. And is currently the only known queen to have more than one mill horse operating in her wand at once. So, cool. Like I said, Rena the Riddled, she really didn't do much for Meanie. She just would rather do puzzles all day. And we're actually going to get rid of everybody except for Selena, so we have room for the rest of the... Actually, we're going to stop with Eclipsa, and then... Selena Butterfly, Selena the Shy. Now, you also have to keep in mind that none of these, after Eclipsa, are actually butterflies. They are, descended from peasants. Now, we hear about her. Her hair was pink, like a dark pink. But they really don't have a dark pink, so. We hear Star call her, great-great-grandma Shy. In the grandmother room. I personally love the grandma room, and if I could go and see it, I would. What hides behind the gold fan the hand does sweetly hold, a trove of cosmic secrets that never will be told. The 33rd Queen of Mewnni. She had crescent moon shapes on her cheeks, like Marco. And she had crippling shyness. According to her tapestry, she would stay locked in her room and hid her face with the royal magic wand, which was a paper fan, and she loved writing and poetry. Little's known about her time as queen, except, she was super, super, super shy, apologizing to people and inanimate objects after bumping into them. Most of her creative writing fills the Magic Book of Spells in her chapter. And that's about it. Now, I do love her daughter, Estrella. Selena's husband was Azul Saint. And, And unlike the rest of the mute, like the rest of the, like, I guess you could say, like how we do it here in the United States. Again, if you've noticed, everyone has the butterfly name. And because of her father, she did have a darker, actually did have a darker complexion than the rest of the others. She was the 34th Queen of Mewney. She cannot write, she cannot sing, but she can draw, her only thing, sketching late into the night, but will she ever draw it right? Estrella the Drafted. She has yellow 5-petaled star-shaped marks on her cheeks. Again, like everybody else, she inherited the wand from her mother, Selena the Shy. She did very little during her time as queen. She was very popular among the Mewmans, who were fearful of change. She didn't write very much, but she spent most of her time drawing around. Estrella eventually married Azul Saint. I thought that was her father. Huh. It actually does not say her father's name. Azul Saint was her husband. But you know, from what I see, she kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? She had an interesting style about her, one that I personally love. I'm just trying to find the right one. Okay, so we're just gonna put her in this one. Again, I'm not really worried about appearances, mostly names. What is going on with the back of that head? It was cute in the front. Oh well. Just focus on the front of her hair. And we know more about, you know, Estrella's daughter. And I think you can guess who her daughter was. That's right, Comet Butterfly. Comet Butterfly is the mother to Moon Butterfly. Now, as far as, you know, queens go, other than Eclipsa, I do love Comet Butterfly. Comet has always been just amazing to me. You know, she had purple butterflies on her cheeks, and unfortunately, you know, she had a really sad ending, and we're gonna get to that. You know, she married Laszlo Marmalade, and she was the 35th Queen of Mewney. I'm trying to find a good. There we go. Not that she'll go barefoot. No magic on Mewney was greater than Comet and her kitchen creations, but she was defeated by Toffee, lizard prince of the dark monster nations. She was extremely adventurous and irresponsible in her youth. She traveled across dimensions, got married, had a baby, and got divorced all before she inherited the royal wand. And they typically inherit the royal wand at like 14, so she loved baking and enjoyed making tasty treats for others. She was against the war and sought peace between monsters and humans. As a brilliant strategist and manipulator, she would use her delicious baked goods to influence the thoughts of others. She's very caring, loving, um, and, Moon always talked about her mom. Tensions escalated between humans and monsters, and Comet developed a strategy for preventing conflict by feeding the army generals and the Magic High Commission delicious food. She inherited the throne of Mewney from her mother, and she held a banquet in honor of the Monster King, Archduke Batwin. This noble act would make great strides in bridging the gap between humans and monsters, much to the jargon of the High Commission. The High Commission that they've been dicks for like eons, it seems like. She was about to go sign a peace treaty with the Archduke Batwin, and Toffee went rogue and assassinated her. Moon was about 14 or 15, maybe a little younger, when this happened. And a couple days after, Comet's death is when Moon, the Undaunted, went to Eclipsa, had part of her freed very briefly. And she got the spell to destroy Toffee. I do love Moon. I really do. There's no light blue hair. Okay, this is the most light blue we're gonna get. I don't have like a braid or anything, so if I do like a side thing, that'll work. Moon the Undaunted. She defeated Toffee and drove the monster army back, all within the first year of her reign. She was the 36th Queen of Mewney, married River. Her cheek marks are I can never remember what her cheek marks are. Oh, they're diamonds. They're pink diamonds. She's very serious. She does not like monsters at all because of her mother, because of what happened with her mother. She very, very, very much loves River. And, unlike some of the other queens, she can actually use magic without her wand. She likes to wear her hair an updo, kind of like her mom did. But when it's down, it's a lot like stars. She can actually go into her puberty form at will, which we don't really know anything about her mom or anybody else's puberty form. After her mom died, that's when she met River. And there's so much has happened. Being Queen Moon acts as a true ruling monarch of Mewni and always has well-being of her kingdom in mind, to the point she is unable to express interest in anything else. She does she does act like she really doesn't care about much else other than ruling Mewni, but she really does love her family very, very much. And she did a wonderful job at being queen. I'm actually going to get rid of Festivia. I don't like Festivia at all. But this way, we can make room for our sweet baby, Star. Now, we know a lot about Star, seeing as how, she's the main character of the series. I'm making her a teen because she is technically a teen. And, Star has heart shapes, and she is I think it was the 37th queen of Mewni. For a short period, at least. But she is Star the Underestimated. Her heart marks sometimes change into other things to reflect her emotions, like hourglasses, gray skulls, white skulls, light bulbs, stop signs, broken hearts. She too can go into puberty form whenever she wants. And, she's a very, very, she's not really mature at the beginning of the series, but with character development, she really comes into her own. And once she finds out about Eclipsa being the last real, butterfly, she hands the queen back. She hands the throne back back to Eclipsa. So Eclipsa is then is the queen again. So she's the 38th queen. And then, of course, with Meteora being a toddler again, is the heir and should be the 39th queen. But the series isn't over yet, and not sure how it's going to play out. But that is so far the known history of the butterfly family. It's what we know. I personally would like to know more about the butterfly family. and I would love to see like what's going to become of it, what's going to happen, um, and just what they're going to do, how they're going to end the series, and is Meteora actually going to take over as the first half human, half monster queen, or is Meteora, Globgor, and Eclipse just going to retire off into the sunset one day and live, their lives as a family for the first time in 300 years? But that's a story for another day. Yes, I know my outfits and shoes and everything were very, very off of what the Wikipedia page says, but I really don't care. I was just trying to, ta-da, here's the family. So enjoy, leave a comment below, leave a like if you like this, and subscribe to my Twitch channel. There will be a link in the description below. And until next time, enjoy.